Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Do I have levels? 1, 2. This is a level check. Ooh, excuse me. Get a little Diet Mountain Dew here. Level check. 1, 2, 3. Okay, everybody should be up and running. Okay, Facebook checks out, YouTube checks out, Roku checks out, the app, the web checks out. Okay, everything's looking good. This is Meteorologist Steve Horstmeyer. I'll be with you in under 3 minutes. It's 7:12 right now, according to my clock. Actually, it just turned 7:13, so I'll be with you in under 2 minutes. Da, 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 da. Okay, 7:14, under a minute, and I'll be with you live. It's a level check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Meteorologist Steve Horstmeyer in the streaming center. Under a minute, the live weather show begins. Hi, everybody. Meteorologist Steve Horstmeyer in the streaming center at Fox 19 now. It is Monday, and I know Mondays aren't the greatest days in the world, but it's a hot and sticky Monday, and we have got a pretty routine forecast coming our way. Let's go ahead and take a look at a time lapse starting this morning from Turfway Park. If the lights come on, the horses running around, get a bit of a shower there. The cloud cover hangs tough, although it begins to break up as we head into the afternoon, and you see more and more blue sky, and finally the last frame here shows you that the sky's got more clear spots than cloudy spots, and we do not have rain in the forecast through the evening hours. As a matter of fact, we will see rain again tomorrow. It'll hop up here and there. Again, the rainfall will be spotty over the next few days with an increasing chance of rainfall as we head into Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. In addition to that, we've got the chance for some heavy rainfall, but according to the Storm Prediction Center, out through day 8, so tomorrow's day 1 and then day 8, there is no chance of any major kind of outbreak of severe weather. Can't rule out 1 or 2 cells popping up and getting a little bit strong, but we don't have a severe weather outbreak on the way, and that is according to the Storm Prediction Center. All right, so a quick look ahead looks like this. Notice how each of the days look pretty much the same. If we would add Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday on that, they would look the same also, but an increasing chance of showers as we head through Friday and the weekend. So we are stuck with sticky for a while. As a matter of fact, look at the heat index values. Now, Wednesday, the heat index shows up at 81 because this is for CVG, and that means some rain is coming down. So cooler, but the heat index values basically in the upper 80s to lower 90s through the next 7 days. And that just means it is going to definitely be on the sticky side. Dew point temperatures. Now remember, the dew point is a measure of the humidity in the atmosphere. Anytime the dew point hits 70 or higher, it is just downright humid. We could call it New Orleans weather. We could call it South Alabama weather. But definitely on the humid side right on through the next few days. And look at that, the dew point Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, very high. Now, some of these high dew points may not be accompanied by temperatures that are all that warm, especially when we start going into Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday because of rainfall. So we may have a temperature of 80 and a dew point of 75, and that just means it's steamy out there. But we are looking at the chance of rain each and every day on into next week. So let's go ahead and take a look at today's rainfall totals. The highest rainfall total reported to the National Weather Service was 2.12 inches, Moores Hill, Indiana. Williamstown, Kentucky came in with 2 inches even. Oxford, Ohio, up at Miami University, 1.97. Wilmington, 1.55. Brookville, Indiana, 1.35 inches of rainfall. At my house in Madisonville, and if you're not familiar where that is, if this is downtown Cincinnati, Madisonville is due east. It's about as far east as you can get and stay in the city of Cincinnati, not far from the Little Miami River and just south of Merrimont. So we had about 0.6 of an inch of rainfall, and we needed it. Okay, so here is the satellite radar loop, and you can see there's no rainfall in the area now. Won't be this evening or overnight. Everything will settle down and then refire during the day tomorrow. And it looks like the eastern part of our viewing area the most likely to get the rainfall tomorrow. Okay, now if you can look at this, you can kind of see the storm track. You can just look at the cloud cover, the flooded alerts and all that, kind of snaking its way right like this. That is the storm track, and that's essentially going to be the storm track right on through the rest of this week. That yellow arrow there shows where most of the activity is going to be. Now, this front, there's a bunch of little frontal systems up here, but a front that's going to gather some steam is heading our way, and by Friday, this will be interacting with what's going along the storm track, and that provides a little bit more energy, it provides a little bit more lift, and that could enhance the rainfall. So we could see, as we head into Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, we could see some fairly heavy rainfall around the tri-state. But again, conditions at this point don't look favorable for severe weather. Okay, so airport temperatures at 7 p.m. in the 80s everywhere. 86 is the high, unless I missed one, 86 is the highest at Harrison and Hamilton and Middletown. 83 at Lunken, 84 in Batavia, so you can tell it's warm out there. And that's about normal for this time of year, maybe a degree or two cooler than normal. Look at the dew point temperatures. Now, again, we're talking about microclimates here. Okay, the microclimate in Lebanon, that's a little airport surrounded by farm fields, puts a lot of moisture in the air. 75 is the dew point in Batesville. That's also a small airport with a lot of farm fields around it. And those crops put a lot of moisture into the air. As a matter of fact, Brad Mousehart today did a little bit of research on this. And for 1 acre of corn in 24 hours, okay, this is just 1 acre in 24 hours, 3,000 to 4,000 gallons of water is transpired into the air. Okay? Of course, it's water vapor. So that explains why the dew point is so high in Lebanon, because if you look at this on an aerial picture, it's surrounded by farm fields. Same thing with the Batesville area. And so imagine that. 1 acre of corn can transpire 3,000 to 4,000 gallons of water in 24 hours. That's pretty amazing. Okay, and that explains a lot of why the dew points are so high there in those two spots that are surrounded by farm fields. Okay, so the latest heat index values. Heat index is 92 in Batesville, Hamilton 92, 96 in Lebanon with all that moisture in the air. 92 in Middletown, officially 88 at CVG, 87 at Lunken, 88 in Falmouth, Maysville, and Batavia. So it's hot. There's no doubt about it. Springboro's also got 88. So it is a steamy evening. Now it's not record-setting heat or anything like that. It's not extreme. It's not that far from normal. I mean, typically we get dew points at this level, and we get heat index values like this typically at this time of the year a lot. But we're looking at it. Brad and I were looking at that also, and it looks like it might be till we may not see relief from this humidity until the end of the month. Okay, so right now it's the 14th, so so we may see 14 or 15, 2 more weeks of this kind of humidity without much, if anything, in the way of a break. All right. So let's take a look ahead. Now you can see this will change the temperature, dew point, and heat index as we go. This is starting at 7:20 p.m. today. We put this into motion, and there you see for Tuesday at 5:10 p.m., dew point or temperature 78, dew point 74, heat index 80. Okay, so that dew point's way up there, and that's because rain's falling, according to this model. Wednesday, 86, 71, and 91 for the heat index. On Thursday, another day with some rain popping up. Remember, it settles down at night. It reforms in the afternoons as the day heats up, providing more energy for the showers. So 91 for the temperature, 96 for the heat index Thursday. As we head into Friday, we've got dew points still in the 70s. And you can see as we head through Saturday, Sunday, now into Monday and Tuesday, more rain and shower and thunderstorm activity in the forecast. The Weather Prediction Center says, that's WPC, the excessive rainfall outlooks, it says a marginal risk of excessive rainfall for most of the viewing area, 8 a.m. Tuesday to 8 a.m. Wednesday. A marginal risk just for the kind of the eastern far part, north and eastern parts of our viewing area, 8 a.m. Wednesday to 8 a.m. Thursday. 8 a.m. Thursday to 8 a.m. Friday, everybody under that marginal risk. 8 a.m. Friday and 8 a.m. Saturday, everybody's under that marginal risk. And that's all the further out the Weather Prediction Center goes. I would say that you might as well just count on that Saturday into Sunday and Sunday into Monday also. Any one of those days could see excessive rainfall. Now, when we're talking about excessive rainfall, we're not talking about the type that brings on big Ohio River flooding and rains for days at a time. It can be a pocket of thunderstorms in just one corner of our viewing area that brings excessive rainfall and some localized flooding. So when we say excessive rainfall, we're putting it in the context of summertime precipitation, okay, which is more spotty and more convective. And so it's that type of precipitation where you might get an inch and a half of rain and 5 miles away they don't get anything. So we're not talking about everybody getting the same thing all the time. All right, then, as far as the rainfall totals go, according to the European model, from now through Monday of next week, many areas could exceed 2 inches. Some spots could get closer to 2.5 inches. But overall, it looks like a wet several days ahead of us around the tri-state. Okay, sunset today at 9:04. Right now at the International Airport, it's 84. We'll drop to 75 by 11 p.m. Now, for some reason, that model still has a shower or thunderstorm in here. We have nothing in the viewing area this evening or tonight. Overnight, some patchy dense fog forms around the tri-state with low temperatures around 70. And most of that fog is going to be mainly south of the viewing area. And then on Tuesday, we're looking at a high temperature of 86 degrees. That's 87 degrees. That's 1 degree warmer than the normal high temperature. And we again are talking about some fog in the morning. With all this humidity around, it doesn't take much. Now let's take a look at what one of the models says the fogginess will look like tomorrow morning. And again, it could be enough in spots to slow things down. So notice that the fog is mainly in the southern part of our viewing area, okay? So if you get up to Connersville, if you get up to Lebanon, if you get up to Versailles, you probably won't see anything. But once you start getting down further south, now remember it takes about a quarter mile or less of visibility to have a serious impact on traffic. In other words, people start to slow down when they see the fog at a half mile. But when you're driving, a half mile is a long way. When it's down to a quarter mile, people begin to get a little bit more serious and slow down, and there are bigger impacts to traffic flow. And so you see as you head south, 0.8 of an inch in the Falmouth area at 5 a.m., 1/10 of an inch at Mount Olivet, 0.4 of an inch in Maysville, 0.3 in West Union. And so this part of the viewing area. Now remember, these like Patriot and Alexandria are quite a ways away. There's a lot of territory in between there where that patchy fog could be thicker in spots. Okay, so let's go back to full screen. That is 5 a.m. And by the time we get to 7 a.m., look how much the visibility has dropped. Now look at all the areas down around Mount Olivet, Brooksville, Maysville, Falmouth, West Union, a quarter mile or less around the tri-state. So it looks like that, mainly the south and southeastern part of our viewing area gets hit the hardest, and not much fog from the city northward. And by the time we get to 8 a.m., everything's beginning to improve already, and we are done with it. So several hours in the morning with widespread, fairly dense fog. Once again, the high temperature tomorrow, 87, 86 the normal. We're looking at a low around 70, 66 is the normal. So warmer than normal on the low side, 1 degree cooler than normal on the high side. And the record's 104 and 52. Okay, so the Climate Prediction Center says that we are going to be warmer than normal from the 20th through the 24th. This is a little change from what they had last week. 22nd to 28th, they still have us warmer than normal. As a matter of fact, we're mighty near the center of that warmest of warm. And then that begins to break down, but we're still warmer than normal through the 9th of August. So we're looking, according to what we've seen here, Brad Moushart and I worked on this together, we were the two on this afternoon, between what we're seeing on the models and what this Climate Prediction Center is seeing is that we think it's going to be warmer than normal right on through the rest of this month and maybe as late as the 9th or 10th of August, according to this. Now, what about the precipitation? Okay, so if we take a look at the precipitation values, the Climate Prediction Center says from the 20th to the 24th of July, we've got a little bit more than normal precipitation. Same thing, a little bit more than normal precipitation from the 22nd to the 28th, and then about normal precipitation once we get to the 9th of August. So again, what is the takeaway from this? I mean, there's a lot of detail on all these maps and all these numbers, but the takeaway here is A, that we don't have a heat wave on the way. It's going to be hot, it's going to be uncomfortable, it's going to be humid, but we don't have an extended, dangerous heat wave in the near future, at least maybe for the next 3 to 4 weeks, and we don't have a big drought coming our way. Now, the soil has really dried out lately. We did need the rainfall. We need more, and it looks like we're going to get it, but everything from the models does not say that we're in for a repeat of last year's drought for the next 3 to 4 weeks. Okay, now things may change. Once we get into the middle of August and September, we may be seeing a different pattern develop, but right now it's looking like we're okay without a big drought and without a big heat wave into the first, maybe second week of August around the tri-state. Okay, and that's good news. Here's that 7-day forecast. Low tonight 70, high tomorrow 87 degrees. Again, the heat index up in the 90s. Spotty storms pop up. Wednesday, TQL Stadium, FC Cincinnati plays. There will be scattered storms there. They're very strict when it comes to Major League Soccer about lightning danger. And the person in charge of making sure they know about that lightning danger is Brad Moushart. Okay, he's been doing that for a while for FC Cincinnati. So Brad will be involved with that as we head into Wednesday. And then notice Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, all pretty much the same forecast. Lows in the 70s, highs in the 80s. Each day the chance of showers and thunderstorms popping up around the tri-state. Okay, let me let you look at that for a second. I'm going to take a quick drink. Okay, now we go to beyond the 7-day forecast. And once again, like last week, I had a front on there. There's a front here around the 25th, which could bring some more widespread rain and thunder activity. Again, when you get this far out, it's kind of iffy. So it looks like typical pop-up stuff for the 23rd, 24th, maybe more widespread for the 25th and 26th, and back to pop-up stuff for the 27th and 28th. So again, we do have some activity coming our way, and a couple chances of maybe getting a few severe storms, but it mostly looks like garden variety, typical pop-up stuff in the tri-state. And there you see it, not much change. 7-day and this all look pretty much the same. So if we look at our summary graphic here, high temperatures, low temperatures, notice the high temperature still flirting with normal. Low temperatures a little bit above normal for the 14-day stretch, and the humidity stays on the high side. And one of the models, the European model, does give us a slight break in the humidity. Once we get to the 28th here, we start to see a little bit of a change. So it doesn't look like a big change, but it does look like we might be getting a break in the humidity there. So that takes us through the forecast. Let me see who we've got talking to us on Facebook. Oh, yeah, I got a lot of comments here. All right. Bob McIlvain wants to know if we're going to have an early fall this year. I hope so, because I'm tired of this hot stuff. It's a little bit too early to tell. However, based on what we see on the models, okay, we not only have models that go out a few days and ones that go out a couple weeks, then ones that get a little bit more general, it looks like we're going to have warmer than normal weather on into September at least. So at this point, I'm not thinking of an early fall yet, Bob. Okay? Stephanie Saunders says, I thought you were going to retire. So did I, Stephanie. So here's the long-term story. More than 2 years ago, I told them I was going to retire at the end of my contract, and they asked me to stay on for 2 more years. So I signed a 2-year contract. That was up around March 13th, and I was planning on retiring then. And then meteorologist Ashley Smith found a job opportunity she just couldn't pass up, so she decided to take that, and that left us shorthanded, and it takes a while to find a person to replace somebody. So I agreed to stay on till the end of May and to help get that person going and all that. And then Frank Marzullo left the station, and I agreed to stay on to the end of August and to help them get staffing going, and there's a lot of other stuff going on with computer changes and all that other stuff. So right now, my retirement date is scheduled to be the 28th of August. Okay. And then Bob McIlvain wants to know if it means we're going to have a lot of heavy snow this winter. Nah, not really. I mean, we could have a lot of heavy snow this coming winter, but it's way too early to tell that. Last winter was supposed to be not like that when we had that one big snowstorm because the La Nina did not develop as everybody thought it would. So it's just, there's just really very little connection between what's going on now, how long it stays warm, and what kind of winter we're going to have. And we really don't begin to get a good idea for the winter until we get into like September. Yeah, too early to make any kind of statement about snow for the winter. Melvin Stone Street wants some sunshine and wants to know if I had a good weekend. Yeah, I had a really good weekend. We had to tear out a bunch of stuff in our yard to make way for a bobcat so we could fill in the pool. And then we had a driveway and parking pad put in. And so I'm still cleaning up from all that and redoing some stuff. So yeah, I had a good weekend, so I got a lot of that done. And then when it got too warm to be out in the sun, I just went inside and sat down and took a break. Bob McIlvain says, do the do. There it is. Diet Mountain Dew, my drink, the drink of the meteorologist everywhere. All right, and that's it. No more comments or questions there on Facebook. So I thank you for joining me. I'll be back tomorrow at 7:15. We'll talk more about what it looks like and maybe see an end to this weather. But right now it looks like we're stuck with sticky at least through the 28th, maybe the remainder of the month. So we'll have more on that tomorrow. Thank you for joining me. Have yourself a nice evening. Stay cool. And don't forget, you can see the All-Star game on Fox 19 tomorrow evening. And, of course, we'll be on with our newscast after the All-Star game is over. Thanks for joining me. Have yourself a nice night.